You're listening to Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. We got a very special episode. I've been wanting to get, Keanu Reeves on the show for a long time. I worked with him a long time ago. I love him. Who doesn't love Keanu Reeves? But what's awesome is I met two guys, one of which I'd met a long time ago, Brett and Rob, who are in this band Dogstar with Keanu. And I enjoyed it immensely. You know, at first it was just like, I just want Keanu on the show. I want Keanu on the show. And they're like, well, hey, you know, Dogstar would like to be on. And there's this band that I listened to, you know, in the 90s. And then they had broken up. And then these guys got back together. And there's so many great stories. And, you know, we get into the mental health aspect and really fun and insightful. And I fell in love with the other two guys. I mean, I was already in love with Keanu. I had a great time, Bryce. I truly had a great time. And I think it comes across. And, you know, it's also good. It's their music. I like their music. It's not like I'm sitting there going, oh, gosh, here we go. I got to, you know, if it was metal stuff, you know, real hard metal, I'd be like, oh, yeah, the metal. I wouldn't know what to say. But it was music.
Yeah, you get into some of the songs off their new album.
Yeah.
Somewhere between the power lines and palm trees.
Yeah, that's the album.
Or maybe the flip of it.
Yeah.
So if you haven't listened to that before you listen to this, check that out because they get into some of the songs.
Yeah. Follow us at Inside of You Podcast on Instagram and Facebook, at Inside of You Pod on the Twitter. You can watch on YouTube. Write a review if you liked it. It certainly helps the podcast. And if you want to join Patreon to support the podcast, we could use your help. Patreon.com/Inside of You. Let you know if you go to my Instagram at the Michael Rosenbaum Linktree Cameo. My live podcast with Kristen Ritter is coming up January 24th. Get tickets at the Regent Theater. Kristen Ritter, Breaking Bad, The Bee in Apartment 23.
Jessica Jones. Just tons of stuff. Great actress, great friend of mine. And also our Inside of You online store. Mm-hmm. Which you can get tons of cool merch, Lexmas scripts, tons of Smallville stuff, and cool tumblers and whatnot. And yeah, Bryce, it's good to have you here. Anything else? No, just this is the final episode of the year. And
final episode of the year. Is it really?
Uh-huh.
We did it.
Yep.
Final episode, but let me tell you something. Next episode's
a big one. There's a lot of big ones coming up.
Subscribe, enjoy, have a wonderful holiday. Be good to yourself, and let's get into this podcast. Let's get inside of Dogstar. It's my point of view. You're listening to Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum was not recorded in front of a live studio audience.
This isn't your man cave.
No, this is the podcast room. I have an affinity for horror movies, and so it's, you know, I always ask guests, like, do you have anything signed or any memorabilia? And the answer usually is no. So I'm guessing, Keanu, you don't have any.
I not really. I got a couple of things. Well, I mean, I see you have a poster of Dracula,
and he signed it. Gary signed it.
Amazing
in blood.
Oh,
that's not blood. That's a Sharpie.
Crossed oceans of time to find you.
To find you.
That's
He's
good.
so remarkable.
I mean, it's
so I gave Francis Ford Coppola once for his birthday some mushrooms.
What?
And then, yeah.
Yes, this is a great
while
start.
we were doing Dracula.
Wait, before he directed it or after?
No. I think it was I know it was during. It was I heard it was his birthday, and I happened to have an eighth of some mushrooms, and so I gave them to him.
And how did he react?
He took them. I don't want to. He had a very nice birthday.
Wow.
He said he enjoyed them.
That's why Roman directed the first 5 minutes, I think.
No, Roman was doing all the experimental, not experimental, but
Dad, I got this. Just go over there and try.
Wow, you gave mushrooms to one of the biggest directors of all time. I heard that Gary Oldman didn't get along, by the way, with him.
No, they got along.
Did they?
They did.
So after he did the mushrooms, he did the Apocalypse recut. He did the redo. He's like, wait a minute.
Somebody went up to him when they were interviewing him. I remember I had the laser disc, and they said to him, hey, what's your relationship like with Francis Ford Coppola? It's like, when you're dealing with in a relationship like this, you know, in a business like this, you've got to have a great ego. And Francis Ford Coppola has an ego the size of San Francisco. And I've got a pretty big one too. I was like,
yeah.
So it was like two egos, but they probably...
There were two, let's not call them egos. I mean, they're great, profound artists.
That's right.
True.
That was a good Sid and Nancy. You almost had. I felt.
Was it?
Yeah, I felt like that was a good Sid.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
Everything Gary does.
Gary's the best.
Is the best. But this isn't about Gary Oldman. This is about Dogstar. This is a long time coming. I've been playing. When you walked in, I was a little embarrassed because I didn't mean to have your music playing around my house.
We're going to do an interview, so we appreciate you taking the time to listen to the work that we've created.
Back in the day, you guys toured with David Bowie.
Well, we didn't tour. We had a show.
Well, a show, but you toured with Bon Jovi,
yeah.
in Australia and New Zealand. And I keep thinking, how did you not just want to, like, were you crawling out of your skin with nerves? Like, how do you do that? How do you open for John Bon Jovi?
Well, when you open for John Bon Jovi and your Dogstar, you go on when it's still light out and it's the afternoon and it's you and a handful of people in the sunshine, a couple
mostly vendors
and some vendors walking around. So, it's kind of chill.
You're downplaying
You're
it, though.
kind of like the third, you're the opener before the opener. But they were great to us, and it was a great experience. But yeah, we played in front of a handful of people.
I mean, nerves are good. Nerves are different than like fear. That's different. Nerves are more like excitement and.
Well, my nerves are fear.
Okay, that's
Rob,
different.
My nerves are fear too. Brett, what are your nerves?
I just pretended there was no cameras there.
A version of like everyone's naked.
My nerves are excitement usually.
Yeah, that's
unless I don't know the song.
See, that's
then
I'm
it's
with Brett.
terror.
I'm not kidding
I'm with Brett
around.
with that.
Mine are usually based. I had this conversation with my psychiatrist before I interviewed you guys, and I was like, when I get nervous, he goes, "Well, it's good. Everybody has nerves. I go, no, I need something for this because it can be crippling sometimes. Sometimes it's all fear. It's all fear based. Failure, looking like an idiot.
But you find, like in acting, like if you're really prepared, like you still get the nerve, but it's a different kind of nerve because it's like you feel good. I feel like if you're not prepared, then it becomes a whole nother set of nerve. It's a nerve of like, oh, I didn't prepare enough. And then I'm afraid of that more so than like, oh, I'm just nervous because there's all these people, or I'm on Jimmy Kimmel, which I think is smart. I think if you're not nervous, you're dead. Almost. Yeah. You're not alive. Like it's just electricity. So the thing is how you channel those. Right. And I think being with these two guys helps a lot because they can be calming too, just being with these two guys. So.
Really, you guys are that calming? Because right now
I feel they help me a lot.
Well, I sense like this.
Robert's the calming one.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Why? Why is Rob calming?
He's like, hey man, just play the song, play the show, just focus on the song.
Well, what are you saying before he says that? Are you saying,
I'm like, oh, what the fuck? I'm gonna fucking fail, and what the fuck is all
That's
gonna
what
go
I would
wrong?
do.
And I don't know what if I don't remember, and oh my gosh, and like, yeah. And even when I'm prepared, I get nervous. But he's like, man, just play the song.
Yeah, what the fuck, man? I guess that's just wisdom.
Rob, not me.
Yeah, Rob, not Brett.
Brett, you don't get nervous very often, do you?
I do.
And you're singing, man.
I get nervous when there's a newer song that I don't have locked in yet, and we're gonna go perform it. And I'm like, maybe I got the lyrics, maybe I don't. Here we go. We'll see. So that part is nerve wracking. But yeah, when you're well rehearsed, then you get to focus more on like the audience and the other band members and have fun with it.
Yeah.
So ideally, we're well rehearsed and the nerves are minimum.
I just want to know how you could be so successful being fear-based. Like your nerves are fear. Like, I mean, but it's gotten you through it. You've gotten through it.
Yeah. Yeah. Has it? Yeah.
I wish I could be other people where it wasn't fear. I wish I could do that, but maybe that's just how we're wired.
I mean, we're talking about degrees too, right? There's, you're sometimes more nervous. It's not necessarily catastrophic nervosity.
Right.
Every time it's,
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp Online Therapy. Do not fast forward because this is something that truly helps so many people around the world. So many of my friends. You hear the guests, how many guests talk about therapy, and it's amazing. And a lot of people, I talk about how, a family member who,
no one will understand me. No one knows what I've been through. Well, that's not true. There's so many people that do know what you're going through, and they've seen it all. And therapy really, truly helps. It helps me. And whether or not your family gives gifts during the holidays, you can always give yourself the gift of a healthier you. Whether by starting therapy, going easier on yourself in tough moments, or treating yourself to a day of complete rest, remember to give yourself some love this holiday season. This time of year can be a lot. It's hectic, it's stressful, it's really easy to forget to take time for yourself, but you deserve it as much as your loved ones do. And it's super convenient with BetterHelp. It's entirely online and designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Even during the holidays, just fill out a brief questionnaire. This thing takes no time at all to get matched with a licensed therapist, and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. So if you're not vibing with your therapist, don't think, oh, it's not working. No, just switch to another therapist and feel the vibes. Feel good about who you're talking to. You feel comfortable, and you will find that with BetterHelp. In the season of giving, give yourself what you need with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/inside today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/inside. Inside of You is brought to you by Discover. If you like using debit over credit, don't you think it's time you also get rewarded? Well, now you can with Discover Cashback Debit. It's a checking account that rewards everyone with cash back on everyday purchases. Plus, there are no fees, period. We're talking date nights, thrifting the latest trends, nights out with your friends, and it's now earning you cash back with Discover Cashback Debit. Check out eligibility and terms at discover.com/cashbackdebit. Discover Bank, member FDIC.
It's also when you're on the road, I find there's so much going on, and there's like the morning, there's the routine. And then if you get hit up with something like Jimmy Kimmel, when you're out in the middle of the road, you have less time to be nervous. Like sometimes time can be your enemy, or just having too much of that weird sort of down. I think a lot of actors will say like sitting in the trailer too long. It's like, and then they call for you and like now, and like, well, wait a minute. You know, I've been here for 4 hours, but we want it now.
Right.
And I think it's when you're on the road with these guys, I feel like you get into this like rhythm, and you don't have time for that.
You are calming.
On this particular,
right? You are fucking calming. It's his voice and the way he just is. There's some kind of optimistic feeling you get when you're just talking. It's like everything's going to be all right. Do you feel, Brett? You don't always agree with that. He's like, well, he could, sure, you guys bang heads.
I just sit back and let it be. No, it's. I agree with Rob in the sense that if you overthink it, then that's where the wheels come off. So I think like yesterday we did a rehearsal and it was great, and then we recorded a pass and it was cool, and then you guys want to do it again, and then it's like, oh, okay, and now we're thinking. And then we sucked.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, let's just use that first one, because why did we even do the second one? We're thinking, right? I mean, I think we're in our head and going,
absolutely
thinking. But when you just come out and bang, done, and it's like, okay, and that becomes a little more second nature, right?
Yeah.
Second you start getting cerebral, then it's like, look out.
Yeah, I get it. Well, enough about nerves. We can get into nerves at another time. But, I start thinking about, you guys were together, well, for how long? For 20-something years before you stopped?
Yeah.
10, maybe?
Yeah, around 10 years.
And then what was it? Was there an event? Was there something that sparked, hey, let's do this again in our 50s or whatever? Because, it's like, what was it? Some sort of excitement, something like, hey, we have more to do here?
No. But eventually, yes.
I mean,
yes, maybe. I don't know. I can't speak for, I don't know.
I mean, I know that we love playing, and within those years we did get together in my home and play in the studios.
Right.
Keanu's had a rig there that never left. I mean, it was just always there. So so we did get together. We got together I look back and videos and stuff. There's like 2011. I see that we were there, and your iPhone has dates. I'm like, oh shit, we were there in 2011, and then certain time 2015. So we did sort of bomb in and get together. But I guess we made a conscious decision to try to do something sort of right around after the pandemic there. We were up at the Matrix premiere in San Francisco, and we, as Bret was saying, we had a conversation about gear or something, and we kind of nerded out about that. And we just, I don't know, the timing just sort of came together, and we got together and played, and it just sounded good.
Let's give it a try.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess so. It's like, I guess you don't know what you're getting into until you just get into it.
Yeah. And Bret was living in San Francisco at the time, so he came down and stayed with me. And I think it was great to it was sort of like, you know, that Beatles movie where they all sleep in the same, was it A Hard Day's Night or Help, where they're all like sleeping in that living room?
Yeah.
In those beds, like sunken beds. It kind of felt like that, you know, we'd get up and have breakfast together, and then Keanu would come over, spend 8 hours, and we kind of did camp. It was like camp.
Right.
And then I don't know how it happened, but we came up with 12 songs, honestly.
And how long?
10 minutes. No, how long was that?
We had
Bret?
more than 12 songs, right?
Yeah, like
we had
16 or
15, I think.
But how long was that? 2 weeks or 3 weeks?
Probably, if you're talking about days spent, probably 21 days overall.
Jesus.
Three different sessions of
Look up prolific.
8 days gone for a month, come back another 8 days kind of thing.
And what do you send voice memos to each other? You have an idea for a song, you want you guys send it?
No, it was all done in the same room.
Candygrams. We sent each other.
There was nothing really other than, you know, if Keanu had a bass riff or something, he would bring that in. But there was really no writing done singularly, I don't think, on this one. It was just kind of, I have this idea, or, you know, Rob would just start playing a beat, and then we just look at each other and go. We recorded everything, so we got lucky. We caught every little moment.
The entire session.
Yeah, everything we did, we recorded.
No, whenever we liked something.
Like when we were onto something, we
Oh,
recorded.
gotcha.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a lot of hours to go through.
No.
Who's the one out of the three of you that usually doesn't like stuff as much as the others? Who's more critical?
Probably Rob. Yeah.
And what will does he kind of pussyfoot around it? Does he kind of go like,
No.
yeah?
He sits in his throne and he looks down with his good judgment and says, "That is not what you should be doing. I don't like that.
I don't buy it at all.
I don't think you guys are screwing up whatever good you started to work on."
Definitely the keel of the boat right there. Yeah, sometimes we get like note nerds, and we're like, "Ooh, play the A over the E. Oh wait, let me try the F sharp over your D." Rob's like, "What are you doing? You're wrecking this song. Like, leave it alone. It was good before, you guys. It was good before." So, yeah, but we want to try this. He's like, "No, just don't." Like,
Yeah, like, so. You know what's been around for thousands of years? Or maybe
Dan Thompson.
Nursery rhymes.
Yes.
You know, and I think these guys are so talented, and they do that. They'll play different notes and tunings and things over things, and sometimes it works. Usually, it works great. And having Bret in the band, it's almost like two guitar players. It sounds to me like sometimes I close my eyes and
That's
I'm playing
because
drums.
he plays in stereo.
Yeah, and I feel like, who's the other guitar player? And I look up, it's just one guy. And I noticed that in the Kimmel the production of that and the way the spread was, and even with Keanu, the bass sounded so good, and it just sounded so good. And that's a tribute to these guys, because they, they have the right gear. They're really into the sonics of it all. And I think that's kept us a three-piece. You know, we tried to play with other musicians, and we have. And even when we did the Greek theater thing with these other musicians, and it was lovely and everything, but there was something about being a three-piece that's really satisfying, you know?
Did you think that when you guys took that sort of hiatus, even though you were kind of playing here and there together, do you think that, by yourself, I know you learned harmonica, right? No?
A little bit, yeah.
Don't you play it live?
Yeah.
So that's would be, that's more than a little bit.
Yeah.
But like, were you playing bass by yourself to just songs and shit like all the time?
Yeah, I have a bass hanging around, so I like doing little ditties.
Do you like doing it in front of people or just by yourself?
That didn't sound right.
Rob, why are you so? Jesus,
this is called inside of you.
I like doing some.
Do you like doing it in the?
Do you play your bass by yourself?
Do you go to the mall?
Sherman Oaks or Beverly Center.
What do you usually wear when you play bass by yourself?
Well, you know what I'm saying. Like, I play guitar with myself for nobody.
Yeah, no, oftentimes it's nobody. I play alone.
And do you guys feel, this is a question for three, because I as a musician, what do you get from it? Do you feel like there's purpose in playing music, or is it just a passion or something you just love? Like, what is it exactly? Rob, start. I want to hear it.
I mean, I play a lot of piano, so it's hard to play drums by yourself for more than like 30 minutes. It gets a little weird. You just
loud.
You just want the other guys in the room. So I'll move to the piano. That I can do forever, and it's like it's healing. It's just healing the tones, and it makes you feel good. I mean, music, listening to it, playing it.
Yeah,
it's the same. The people that don't play and they listen. It's the same thing being a musician. It's a little bit different, but I think it's the same tone, just that it just makes you feel filled up,
Brett?
Use my mic.
Yeah. I feel
Jesus. Use my bass.
Yeah. I think it's just that one of those few things in the world that allows you to shut the world out. It's, for me at least, it's, when you're playing a 3-minute song or whatever it is, or sometimes just listening to music, but when you're playing, I don't know if it's because you're using all your brain focusing on the guitar and the singing or whatever it is, but the world, as you know, it just goes away. You're not thinking about anything else. Even if sometimes if you're sick or whatever, you can still play and have that couple minutes where nothing exists except the feeling, like Rob said, of that,
I agree.
So it's really fun. And then the song's over and then you're like, let's start another one quick.
Do you ever play while you're playing, like you're playing a song, just say you're by yourself, and then all of a sudden you're listening to what yourself's doing, but you don't want to be taken away from it to distract you, but yet the act of just listening to what you're doing can sort of make you go into a different mode or something? Like, it's not like, I'm just the tones of the guitar. Does that ever distract you?
I have a problem where I'm playing and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, this is good, and then I fuck it up completely.
Oh yeah,
right.
You become a fan
Just
of yourself.
Stop
and then
thinking
that's
it's good. Just keep being.
Yeah. How do you do that?
I don't know.
Like, do that ever happen in acting when you have like they call it like a happening when something?
Oh yeah, very rare.
It's
no, it is. You know what I'm
what I-
talking about? When you actually feel like,
it's not planned. It's just, oh my god.
oh my
this
god.
Is
But if that happened all the time, I'd be Hopkins.
right.
So it's something that I wish happened all the time. But when
Yeah.
it does happen, it's like, oh man, this is cool. And it's sort of ephemeral. It's just like, it is what it is.
Those
But
are the moments.
those
I
are the
think.
moments, yeah.
It happens in music too, and I know it. I think in acting maybe it's like improvisation or something. But I'm not talking about jazz or anything. But it does to me. It happens in music. For me, maybe it's easier because I'm listening and sitting, and like sometimes I'll get carried away listening to like something like Glimmer, like Brett sings that,
Yeah.
and even Dylan Street because the lyrics. And it gets me a little sad. I listen to that. I sort of get taken away.
Yeah.
And I'm like you said, like Keanu said, like, oh shit, or Brett said that don't go off the train.
Right. Especially when you're playing in front
Yeah,
of people. Like
yeah.
you could do that if you get into, you don't
Yeah.
almost want to be more robotic.
How do you stay that fine line? Like I
Yeah.
got to be pro, but I want to have it happening, but then I don't want to go off the train and like go off into some.
I think it just,
Yeah.
Keanu, what do you think? Does it take you away from like everything else?
Certainly, yeah. I'm so much about music. Yeah, I love being transported, listening to music. And I love writing songs. I love the creative aspect of it, the sense of play. I love when you connect, when the three of us connect, finding something, oh, we like that, and building it, in the journey of it becoming a song. And I love that moment. I love the fraternity of the band. I love playing live. That's good, clean fun. But yeah, I mean, music is manna from heaven, right? It sustains us. It helps us share with each other. It helps us commune.
Yeah. I always think about that. I always think like music to me is, I don't know what I would do without it. There's a lot of things you could do without. Obviously you have to eat, but like music, there's always something in my head. There's always something I'm humming, I'm singing, I crave for, and it's just like, and if it's not there, it feels like it's missing. Did you guys find that like, maybe that's what brought you back You know, it was sort of that missing each other, missing the music, missing all these things, these elements that deep down you knew you really loved.
Yeah, and for me personally, yes, missed it, but also can only get that playing with Robert and Brett. Like, that was the one thing that was unique. Like, yeah.
The chemistry aspect.
Yeah, the chemistry
of this band is very strong.
That's
for only
amazing.
3 guys, yeah.
Yeah, because I had a band and it was bad. Like, I love these guys, but it like for a while it kind of ruined our friendship. It just was like, you know, 2 guys always wanted to get stoned all the time, and it just got kind of, and it was like, fuck, I could see how it could be crippling. You always hear about bands. Every band has their drama. But I'm looking at you guys now, and maybe it's history. Maybe it's like, you know, you've done the whole Lava Lounge and Crazy Girls after working in the studio all night. Kenny Funk filled me in on some 30 years ago shit.
Oh my gosh.
But, you know, in general, it's like you sort of, I hate to say the word, but like grown up or just gotten to a certain place where the bullshit isn't important.
These 3 band members have always had a really good work ethic. So even in the earlier days, as you were speaking of, we still showed up and did the work that needed to be done. So a lot of other bands I was in before I met these guys, not so much. Kind of stories like what you were just talking about, like, we need to get another bass player again. Like, they're okay, dude flamed out. Okay, like he's ruining the vibe. Okay, so a lot of that was like, yeah, you said, you know, just people showing up late or just being generally bad personalities or just whatever, you know. It's hard to be in a band. It's so intimate.
Yeah.
So
and I love these guys. It's hard. Like stopping, you know, quitting the band. That was like the most therapy I've ever been in was leaving a band.
Yeah.
That no one knew. You know what I mean?
Well, it's a partnership, I guess, right? So you have to have mutual respect for each other and your time and your, you know, if we're all here, then let's do this. Let's not waste each other's time, kind of thing. So we've always been good about that.
What's your favorite song on the album? Honestly, but without just, if you had to pick one song, Rob.
You know, I mean, we're playing them live so different than the record because we wrote them so quick and record them so quick. But I do. I love Glimmer and Dillon Street. I mean, I love those 2 songs. Yeah.
I said one. Rob.
Oh, shoot. Glimmer Street.
All right.
Brett?
Changes for me, but right now I'm feeling how the story ends.
Yeah, that's where I'm too. How the story ends. Yeah. Love the chorus and how the story ends.
I love Lust. That guitar riff.
You know, okay. So of all the interviews we've done and of everything, this is the first mention of Lust.
Are you serious?
Isn't that great? I was waiting for this to happen. It's the first time.
Dude, how could anybody not talk about Lust?
First time someone's even
I love
mentioned
that
it.
song. Yeah.
Just the way
I told
it
you
just
the
kind
other
of
day,
makes
right,
you want to.
I said no one's ever even.
And I love that sort of nutty kind of.
And that music was the first
Asian.
thing we wrote for this album. That opening guitar riff was something that was like, I believe, the first thing we worked on.
Wow.
Like that,
Yeah.
that rhythm of, you know, that, I don't know if it's a Curie kind of whatever it is, but does this song make people uncomfortable? Why is this being avoided so much? Like,
It's got an interesting thing. It ends weird. It's not your classic like pop nugget, right? It resolves, goes in another kind of direction.
I love that song. I love the break too. That sort of bizarre Indian style, like
It's exciting. It feels like you're just driving 90 miles an hour and you're just kind of feeling good and the air is blowing on your face and you're just like, you're going to meet some hot lady.
That's the video.
And you don't know there's a
Can I be the guy driving?
Yes.
I don't want to be the hot lady again.
the guy driving. That's the credit.
You'd be the hot lady.
The guy driving.
Guy driving.
Guy driving.
Yeah, it's great. And look, I really commend you guys for, you know, when I heard you have a new album, I remember listening to you guys and I was like, oh, these guys are fun. And I remember seeing you many years ago. And this just sounds to me like it's just another level of, it just seems like it's just synchronicity. I don't know what the word is. What is the word? It's just like the album just is smooth. It's almost like.
Well, I think one of the things we didn't know going into it, but then going through the process of making the album with the producer, Dave Trumfio, it kind of while we were working on I think we're feeling it during the set too when we play it live, that there's somehow a story. Like it's not like a what would be like a concept album, but it feels like there's a kind of continuity of a story kind of being told.
Like a through line.
Like a through line to
Yeah.
the whole experience of listening to all of the songs in their order. And I think one thing that I really like about this band is the variety of genre in a way. You know, it's not like every song. It's like what I say. It's like it doesn't have same song syndrome. Like
Right.
I feel like you can hear it's not just every song's a pop song, and I don't know. It feels like there's a nice kind of
Yeah, I agree with that.
bandwidth. Like there's different feeling songs.
It just doesn't go boom. It just kind of comes
Yeah.
in and out in waves, and it just takes you down for a minute. And it's
yeah,
like,
and then comes back up. You know, you go from like a song like Glimmer to a song like Breach, you know, or Lust, and go into Dillon Street.
yeah.
You know, those are all different kind of feelings.
What
Moods.
moods. Who came up? Come on, be honest. Who came up with Somewhere Between the Power Lines and Palm Trees?
I think Brett did.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, it's a long title, but I think
How did it come out of your mouth?
uh
That didn't sound right.
yeah. Better than how did it go into your mouth? Yeah, that would have
While
been
playing
worse.
bass with Keanu.
Yes, yeah.
There we go.
Here we go.
I was renting a house over in, I think it was Silver Lake, Los Feliz area, and while we were
It was the Ivanhoe Reservoir in Silver
recording,
Lake.
Rowena
Arena.
Reservoir.
Yes.
So when I'd walk out of the house to go over to the studio with these guys, it was kind of elevated up about 35 feet up above the street level, and I would look out over this reservoir, and all there was palm trees everywhere and power lines just going between them.
And no
And-
water in the reservoir, remember?
And the whole thing was just super LA and super like nature versus man and coexisting. And I took a picture of it, which is the album cover.
That is the picture that you took.
That day I took
So
that
somewhere
picture.
between the beauty and all the bullshit.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
So-
kind
And there's a
of,
couple
man,
little birds on the power line, which I love that he got that.
That's
The
great.
little doves, I think. Yeah.
It just struck me as like this. Wow, this is one hell of an LA experience right here. Like that I'm having. So I went and told these guys, this is a really long title, but what do you think?
And they
about-
all said, yeah, right away.
No, I don't know if it was right away. I think we kicked around a few other things for a while, but
What was the worst idea you had?
Smell the glove.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. We did kind of go on through it pretty quick, right? I don't remember having a lot of backup titles.
We didn't play a lot of the name game.
Yeah, and the rest of the photos in the insert are around the home, you know, where we live, and we recorded everything. So it ties in where he was staying because it was so all the shots were from that area in Silver Lake, and more palm trees, more power lines, and more birds, and just sunsets and weird streaks of light.
Coyotes everywhere.
Yeah, it was just one of those kind of things. Yeah,
Yeah, I would get woken
hear
up
that
and
all the
night
time.
coyotes crazy. Yeah, just
yeah.
but it was fun. It was just
See
so
what happens when you make a coyote sound? Yeah. You fucking die, man. I hear that all the time. I mean,
I have a recording on my phone of like what has to be at least 20 coyotes freaking out while sirens are blaring in the background. Like
that's terrifying.
I was like, this is seriously LA, right? Where do you hear those two things at the same
my
time?
God.
Only here. So I recorded that, and I'm like, one day I'll put that somewhere, use that in something.
You can
but-
sample it, and we'll put it in
Yeah.
the right next record.
Hey, I know you probably told this story a million times, but you two, when you met, did you really meet him in a convenience store, or is that a lie?
No, it's a supermarket.
Oh, it's kind of convenient.
It was conveniently. It
Was
was.
it convenient?
But a convenience
con-
store is
yeah.
smaller.
That's true.
It was
You're right.
conveniently located.
There's convenient and then
To my
there's
house.
super.
And was he wearing a hockey jersey, a Red Wings jersey?
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
a T-shirt. It was
What year was this?
It's one of the rare days Rob had a shirt on.
That's true.
Put your shirt
Yeah.
on.
Were you
Robert.
always shirtless?
I don't know what was wrong. I used to play with that because we used to play in these small, hot 100-degree clubs. So I'd end up just not wearing one. But looking back on that, I'm like, oh man.
Were you ever shirtless?
Yeah. There was walking around shirtless in the summer
He
days.
used to ride his Norton shirtless up Beechwood Canyon.
Just a pair of sunglasses. It was
Yeah,
kinda
no helmet,
heaven.
shirtless.
Yeah, that was good.
Those were the days.
Daring
Sounds good.
do.
Yeah.
So you met and like you approached him.
Yeah.
And what'd you say?
I said, "Do you know where there's a hockey game?"
And I was like,
Play
it's
some
90
pickup.
degrees out, dude. There's no hockey here.
I wanted to play some pickup hockey.
Ice.
Yeah, man.
And he didn't know.
Oh, I know.
No, he didn't. He did know.
Yeah.
Where'd you go? Isoplex and
Pickwick in Burbank.
Burbank.
and you brought him there.
Yeah, every
Yeah.
Tuesday and Thursday, Paul Legois had a pickup game.
Famous
Paul
pickup
Legois,
game.
Canadian, had a pickup game
Yeah.
for many, many years.
Many, many years.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you still play?
No.
Because I think you
I
played.
miss it.
I was bummed because it was like I think you played in the Bruckheimer League years ago.
Never played the
No, you
Bruckheimer
didn't.
game. I was playing in I was on a couple of teams during league play. And
And
stuff.
you played goalie.
I was a goalie. I am a goalie.
Do you miss it?
Yeah, very much.
Would you ever do it again?
Yeah. I don't know how that would go, but yeah.
Why not? Just rent the
Because
ice
of
and
the
a bunch of.
knees, man.
Oh, yeah,
The
my knees are
man.
bad.
I'm almost 60 years old.
Are you really? Are you guys? How old are you, Rob?
78.
Okay, Brett. Brett, how old are you?
54.
Brett's the baby.
He's the baby. We used to call him Young Bret Domrose.
Young
Actually, Kenny
Brett
Funk.
Domrose.
That's what Kenny Funk used to call him.
Really?
Yeah, Young Bret Domrose.
Among other things.
Do that another impression of Kenny, please.
Huh?
Do that.
You
did it.
You did it.
No, I just saw you do the Kenny Funk.
I did. I,
He's the.
Ba.
Michael Rosenbaum. I love Kenny.
Nobody gets it except us.
I know. Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, he's the best. No one can make you laugh like Kenny.
What did it feel like for you guys when you got on stage for the first time after so many years? Was it awesome or was it really scary?
The first time was
That takes us right back to the nerves part of the conversation.
wait, was that the Gold Diggers, right?
Oh, okay. But that was
Friends and family.
closed.
I know, but
closed, private.
Yeah,
But
it's still
that was
scary.
still
though.
the first time.
There was 110 people.
These
there.
are all
Played a
friends.
set.
Yeah, 100. That's even
that's
worse.
worse.
We
That's
played
what,
a-
I agree. I
We
agree.
played a private show. We wanted to, you
Yeah.
know, play. And so we,
Yeah.
There's just like, for me, there's all these world-class record producers and guitar players in the audience. There was only like 80 people there. And I was like, 10
Yeah.
of these people are people I would really don't want them to see me play.
And my neighbor Danielle Lenoir was there. Invite.
it's a cool spot that from the record producer we worked with, Dave.
Yeah.
His place, Gold Diggers.
We thought it was going to be like a casual little, just our friends, you know, and then it ended
And it
up
was
being
packed.
It ended up being all these like heavy music people.
Oh, dude. We played at the Hotel Cafe once. And
Oh, that's a good sound.
Yeah, all
there.
our friends came. I've never been that nervous, but our drummer, Kent, love him. He was so nervous. As he started, his stick just flew out into the audience. He's like, fuck! Were you there, Ryan? No, Ryan wasn't there. But
That place sounds great.
yeah,
it
but then you
was.
can just start again.
He did, and everybody kind of laughed.
Yeah,
Yeah, like,
and
hey,
you're
we're
right.
with you, man. We're with you.
It can't get any worse
It
than
can't
that.
get any worse. But what's the worst performance you guys can remember where you got on stage and the sound sucked so bad you couldn't get it together? Someone might have been drunk, but do you remember one show in particular?
This one.
No. Yes. The host sucked. Tried to play his band.
We're drunk. That's a long. Nothing in this iteration of the band, in my view.
Wait, wasn't
Really?
there like a ice
No.
rink we once played at a fair? Wasn't there a fair show?
We did
in
the
the
thing in Minot,
90s?
North Dakota, and it was just smelled like cow poop everywhere. Remember that
Wasn't
one?
there-
Oh,
wasn't
that's
there
That was
like-
fun. That was fun.
Wasn't there like a fucking
Just
pie
farm.
contest and Dogstar?
We
Wasn't there like? Wasn't there?
Wow,
Wait, say that
I'm
again?
blocking this one out.
Pie contest. And
yeah.
Dogstar.
See, these are the mushrooms.
Dogstar.
These are the Francis Ford Coppola mushrooms.
No,
there
it
was
was like
never
some
any
fair. Like
Was
we
I
were-
there?
Oh wait! I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about. That was in Northern California.
Was it?
No,
Was
that
that
was a
the-
Midwest thing.
Oh, okay.
I think.
It's funny you don't remember it,
The
Rob.
pie contest. I don't remember a pie contest.
We had a gig on this last tour, actually, that the sound check took over an hour, which is really unusual.
Oh, it must have been
It
terrible.
just they couldn't get it figured out for whatever reason.
How pissed were you?
I wasn't pissed. It was just, are we going to get it figured out before the doors open? You know, I was a little more concerned. I
But the
think.
show was okay though.
Show was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It took maybe more than an hour. And
Yeah.
it was just, I think that we had a couple shows on this where we had maybe a sound guy. It was his first day on the job.
Not good.
Not good.
Yeah,
But
now we bring our own sound.
But that we're talking about monitors, right?
the sound that we
If you can't hear yourself,
Yeah.
it's the worst. When you have you ever had where you just can't hear yourself and you're just like
Only
playing
in
the
the old-
chords?
In the old days, not this you
Now
know,
it doesn't
since I got
happen
the
as
inner
much.
ears, it's so much better. But pre-inner ear, it was rough, you know.
Yeah.
But we had a gig on this run where we came out in the first song and the monitors were off, just turned off. And I'm singing and I'm like, I don't hear anything.
Oh shit.
All I hear is drums and a little bit of my guitar amp over there. And I'm like,
I remember that.
Did you stop?
no. I just started waving my guitar tech down to like pointing frantically, like pointing down and over and over.
Everything.
Yeah.
Nothing's working.
I think that was the exact hand signal.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But other than that, I don't really remember anything I don't remember the pie contest.
What about you have your own label, right? You play under your own label.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
we created
we
it.
constructed that because we were told to construct that. But we don't have, but you know, Robert keeps saying we should sign bands. So I don't know, were you signed?
No, we're not signed.
Yeah.
I'll send you the CD.
You
Rob.
want to get
Tell me if we're
signed?
good enough.
You want to be on Dillon Street
Sure,
Records?
man.
Like, we don't really have anybody who works with us or for us, and we have no budget.
But we mean well.
But we mean well. We mean well. You want to?
I'd like to be around guys that
And we,
mean well.
we can't really support anything that you do.
No, that sounds.
But we won't sign you if we don't believe in
But
you.
we'll be encouraging.
It sounds better than what we have now.
Do you like egg salad sandwiches?
I sure do.
Okay.
We'll make sure. Well, we might not. Yeah.
Do you think you will sign bands though?
No.
No, you don't want to do that.
Who? Us? What? Why? We don't know anything. What are we going to help you with?
You know probably just as much as a lot of folks out there. And you just let Rob. Rob looks like somebody could run it.
That was disingenuous. Yes, Robert could run it. Talk to Robert.
No, the cube. Yeah. No, I don't.
So who deals with all this stuff now that you have?
We
your
have really good management. For the first time we had ever with Q Prime and they're just lovely people. First of all, they're great human beings. They're fun to be around.
Yeah,
and they're all like just so wicked smart, and there's so many of them. And every time there's a new one we meet in the team. I don't know. I've never met a group
that
of people.
That wouldn't be your experience with Dillon Street Records.
That's true.
What would my experience be? Just static? Just static sounds?
No. We'd return maybe a call or two, but just be like, how's it going? Doing good?
Yeah.
Great, man. Yeah. What do you want to do? Sounds great.
It sounds better than my reps now.
We take a very hands-off approach.
Yeah. Oh, I could dig that.
So do your thing, Michael. But you guys, go ahead.
It's got to be cool.
It really
though,
take
that you're-
50%.
Do you like pie eating contests?
and Dogstar and Dogstar. Hey, talk to me about. I want to get into your favorite bands of all time and what like inspired you, or like when you were growing up, what were you listening to? Like I like a lot of shit across the board. You know, I could say, oh, well, Led Zeppelin, but I could also say Depeche Mode. I love The Cure. I love kind of alternative stuff. I love Pearl Jam. I like them all over. But what would you say, were your influencers for the band and just, in general?
We all three come from totally different neighborhoods on this one.
Really?
Yeah. Well, Rob and
It's a
Keanu have
musical Dogstar Venn diagram. And so here's the Brett color. Brett?
Well, I have a couple colors because I
Yes.
have colors as a singer, colors as a guitar player, and then colors as a songwriter.
I think I love these guys. If they're as genuine as I'm seeing, then this is pretty good. I want to be in this band. Can I just do something like a rattle or something?
Share the colors, Brett.
Go ahead, Brett.
Well, okay. So growing up as a kid, I was more into the song. I didn't know anything about playing the music yet or playing instruments yet. So I loved Elton John, Billy Joel, like the AM radio, what was happening in the 70s. And all that stuff was I just listened for good songs. I didn't know I was, but just like anybody, I'm drawn to a good song. Poppy, catchy song. And then I started getting into guitar. And so that became like, okay, how do I get as good as possible on the guitar? That became like Rush, Def Leppard.
Wow. I love Def Leppard.
And also U2. So I was like you. I was all over the place. I had Iron Maiden in there. I was trying to like learn the guitar, like properly learn the guitar so I could get in a band someday. And MTV was on and I just wanted to do that. So those guys kind of got me primed as far as like learning the guitar. And then singing I got thrown into because our band, the singer was awful and people kept going, your background vocals are better than his lead vocals. You got to sing. And so they just kind of forced me into being a singer when I was like 17.
Wow.
And then I started writing songs after all that. It just kind of all just happened. So all three of those things. And as a singer, I don't really think about anybody other than people that have passion. You know, like again, Elton John, Tom Petty, people that's when they sing, you believe them. That's all.
Conviction.
I don't care if they're punk rock or if they're country. You know, John Denver, who was on my radio when I pulled into your driveway. So just believability, passion, all that. So that's my
That's a
short answer.
That's
Go
a
ahead,
good
Nick.
answer, Rob. He's just gonna go rat. Thank you. Mic drop.
I thought Def Leppard was deaf, like they couldn't hear. Like it was like Def Leppard. I didn't know it was DE. I mean, I also thought Jimi Hendrix sang "Excuse Me" while I kiss this guy. So
Which would have been fine.
yeah, which is fine. Not the sky. I didn't know. It's when you're a little kid, you're hearing all these things, right? And the first time you hear a radio. So I guess I'm a bit older. So for me, it was, the British invasion was the first thing I heard, and then I realized that what they were playing was all this great American black music and blues and Motown and all that stuff, whatever it was like Willie Dixon or Fats Domino or all those great, James Brown. And so I kind of went back and forth trying to find the blueprints of what the British guys were doing. What the Rolling Stones were doing, what the Beatles were doing. Like I was looking on the album, I was like, the first albums that weren't really written by them, they were covering stuff, but they were covering American artists, and they were covering like American, black artists. They were covering people that we never knew, or I didn't know, or they were from, obscure places that weren't famous, but these all the way across the pond, they were making these people, they were like tribute to them. So I kind of got back and forth. And then I just got like, kind of like you, I got obsessed just with everything that sort of British, like moving on into the 70s and the 80s and Depeche Mode and The Cure and all that stuff. And, I think, the Beatles were it for me. You saw that and it was something different, prior to that, I didn't understand Elvis Presley so much. So maybe because I wasn't a 15-year-old girl, but I didn't get that. Like I understood it, but
I got him later.
Yeah, it's
later,
one of those
I got
things
into Elvis
like
where I'm like, wow.
You have to
Holy
go
shit.
backwards, like with Frank
Yeah.
Sinatra. You're like, oh,
Yep.
that's the stuff my parents would listen to, like Frank, like Ella Fitzgerald,
Yeah.
or Billie Holiday. Then you go backwards and you hear that and you go, oh my God, that's like so good. I mean, it's not what I was into,
Right.
but you sort of come back to that as you get older. But I'm kind of like you. I just sort of, and then Brett as well. Like I love all those singer songwriters and
I love
Cat Stevens, James Taylor. I don't really care if it's classical or jazz.
I like a
or,
good melody, good it's just the feeling of a song. Crosby, Stills and Nash, all that stuff. But
But isn't it fun to go try to discover the blueprints of things? Like
Yeah.
I've been obsessed with that
Yeah.
lately because I think we got a lot of stuff got buried.
Sure.
Like maybe we didn't get what we thought we were getting, or maybe we weren't. They just didn't present those people to us. But there's people that oh no, I knew about those people, but I'm like I didn't know. Like I want to know. Like of course we heard of Chuck Berry, of course, but I didn't know that there might have been a blueprint before him.
Yeah.
I was like, huh?
Who influenced him?
Yeah, like who the hell was
You
that?
go down this
You know what
rabbit
I'm
hole.
saying?
Yeah,
So I'm
sure.
going down this rabbit hole of like
But that's fun.
stuff net lately, and it's just an incredible journey, and it's American, and it's incredible. So
That's great.
I wonder why the British kids like got all that. I like how did they get all that, and maybe some of us didn't. Maybe that was the radio they were hearing in England or something.
We got Chicago, brother. We got Chicago.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
though?
yeah, yeah.
Were they just hearing different radio than we were hearing? I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, but
Keanu?
I'll start with like being like 18, 19 and a girlfriend who just said, you should listen to this. And I was like, what? And,
What was that?
I'm just like stuff now that's kind of like, but at the time, like this is like 1983 84, 83, 84. So like hearing Husker Du or the Violent Femmes or Jesus and Mary Chain or the Clash, the Ramones for the first time. Yeah. Because I hadn't heard that music before I was like 17, 18. When I heard that, I was like, yeah. So I actually really like I love a fast 4/4 time pop song that's rock, whether it's in a different shape, like The Exploited to me made kind of pop songs sometimes, like Dead Cities got so much melody in it, but it's still punk rock. And the Ramones have melody. So I like that, but I just love bass guitar and drums and
Pixies.
distorted. And
Oh,
the
we love
Pixies.
those.
Love the Pixies.
Yeah,
Keanu
so
Reeves.
Yeah,
hearing
I
that-
could feel a little bit of that too. I just saw the Pixies at the Bull with Modest Mouse.
Oh, that's
wow.
great.
It was
Modest
great. I
Mouse.
love them. Yeah, I got to
Next
hang out with
level.
Frank Black afterwards.
Oh,
I was
my
like,
God.
what? So
Wow.
cool. Yeah. They're doing another tour where they're just going to play Trompe Le Monde and another album full both. So they're going to be doing that. But those are cool. Everybody, you're right. Everybody's so different, but it kind of works. It just works.
I think that's what we all bring up, an important puzzle piece, that we wouldn't be able to do without the three of us. It would vastly alter the dynamic, So there's definitely, we cover the spectrum, I think, between the three of us.
Yeah.
We went to do this thing the other day at Amoeba Records where we're picking out,
I heard about that. Yeah.
and Keanu's got the box set of Wagner,
What?
Well, I'd never heard the ring cycle from front to back.
yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay. I'm at Amoeba. That's what you do. So I'm going to spend 7 hours and listen to the ring cycle.
That was my
one time.
grandfather's favorite.
Was it?
He loved that. The Rings. I've never listened to it, and I should.
Yeah. So I'm like, yeah. Yes, I'm going to do that. But anyway.
Wow.
So-
What are they called? No.
Norman Strong and Ogan, but I don't know.
There's 3 names, right?
I think there's
the
4 or 5.
Rings, or
Yeah,
maybe there's
yeah.
5. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's 5.
I have to at least mention it. We're getting to the end here, but this is the end. This is the end. Do you like the Doors?
My only friend, the end.
And he walked on down the hallway, and he saw Dan Thompson right there. Let me ask you this. We talk about mental health on this podcast, and it helps so many people. And I didn't even know I was getting into it. It sort of just happened. I started being a little more vulnerable and, self-deprecating and real. So I'm just like curious what you guys do for your mental health. I mean, I go to therapy, and I work on myself constantly. But is it playing music is your therapy? Is it exercise is your therapy? Is it all of it, or do you guys also do therapy, or whatever? What do you do to kind of calm yourself?
I guess I'll go. I feel that I've learned that if I be more loving to other people, that it makes me better.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I feel the same way, and it's amazing how you don't even that realization doesn't happen when you're younger all the time. Sometimes it takes you years to sort of go, wow, just being a good person is enough. Just to
Because if you feel like that's coming to you, and it's not like artificial, like I'm just going to try to be, it's not. I'm honestly like you don't want to go. That doesn't always work. If someone, it depends, But I just feel that because it's almost what you want for yourself, or what we'd like to have, but it does have a healing. I mean, there is a lot of healing and love,
I dig it. I like it. Brett? Therapy. For sure.
No.
No.
I think songwriting, writing in general can be therapeutic. Yeah. I think some of my songs that lyrically I get to revisit nightly. So that's kind of cool to continually check in on those feelings and things like that. So that's important. But the number one thing I do to chill and to get away from it all is I like to be social. And this is going to make me sound like a raging alcoholic, but I love nothing more than sitting at a bar with friends and just bullshitting and just having a drink and talking. That's like my favorite thing in the world. Just
friends,
current affairs,
yeah.
The history, what's to come, and then just take it in the room. New people wandering around, and so that's kind of like my favorite thing to do is just call somebody and go, "Hey, you want to go to the smokehouse?" let's go to the smokehouse and get a beer and some cheesy garlic bread and look at people and talk.
Right.
I'm like, so, and luckily I got a lot of people on tap that are like, yeah, let's go right now. So
Yeah.
that's like my favorite thing to do.
But see, my therapist thinks that I like to do that all the time and be around people, but being alone is because I don't want to be alone. And so there's some kind of, I don't know what that is, but it's like, yo, I love having friends over and I love the love and I love the conversations. And then why do you have to go?
Well, we're pack animals,
I guess
man.
I'm just
It's
here
like
by
we're-
myself playing bass guitar.
You can learn a lot by being alone. Like during
I
the
thought you were going to say dummy by being a dummy. Remember that
no,
one?
during-
You can learn a lot from a dummy.
but during the pandemic, a lot of us were alone,
Yes,
and not necessarily or with a partner or not. But I'm just saying, even with the partner, the two of you or one of you, but we were alone, and so a lot of people learned a lot about. You read these stories like, during the pandemic, there were so many people who got divorced. Well, you know what? Maybe that was good. Maybe that was good. They realized they were with the wrong person, or people discovered things like I learned to cook, or I didn't know this about myself, because they were although the bullshit was shut down and you were sort of forced. It's sort of like an odd forced meditation. You were like forced to sit in a fucking room for 2 years and not really leave the house. And you were like, oh my God, all this stuff. And then you either learn to like yourself, or you'd like, you know what, this is okay. This is okay to be alone. And there's so many things that you can do, and you don't need all the bullshit outside. And there's nothing wrong with it. Like Brett said, that's great to go out and do all that. I agree with him. But it's also nice to be comfortable with yourself.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of a weird learning.
What's weird
experience.
though is like, it was almost okay to feel alone during that time. It's like, well, everybody else is also feeling alone too, so this is cool.
There you go.
I'm alone, and it's
Yeah.
but then all of a sudden the pandemic's over, and you're like, I'm still alone. Anyway, Keanu, back to you. No. What would you say that is something that helps you for your mental health and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I guess if I'm, I internalize a lot of things, and so I try to find spaces where I can just, and this is something I probably, anyway, sit and think, sit and feel, be quiet. If I have to work something out, what am I feeling? I like to, just sit, think, stare out the window, maybe jump on a motorcycle. And just kind of ask myself, what are you thinking? Why are you feeling that? If it's distressful, like why? What do you want? What's going on?
Do you usually get to the bottom of it when you're doing that?
Yeah, sometimes, or I see the bottom and I'm like, well, okay, I'll just lean into my coping mechanisms, or how to be like, and I think probably coming out of that is some form of communicating it to yourself, or communicating it to someone else, which could be sharing or looking for, like you're talking about therapy, so having a reflection or someone to listen who might have, different perspectives. We'll call it professional perspectives, tools. But yeah, so for me, it's like internalize and then work on the communication, and then if it's like really like personal, like your childhood, or what do you feel about your mother? Or, family or stuff from the past.
Yeah.
If you're dealing with like, for me, it's like intimacy's a good thing. So it's like, okay, how do I work on that? How do I...
You acknowledge it.
Yeah, acknowledge it and see and look at it. And what does that unpack, But that's a therapeutic process. But if it's just get through the fucking day, sit, be quiet, maybe jump on a motorcycle, hang out, maybe have a glass of wine.
Isn't it weird?
That
Like
sounds
when you're young, like you're talking about
That's
that
good. That's
childhood stuff. It's almost like you look at a picture. It's like you're almost not the same. That's not the same person, but it is clearly it is because it is. But it's like, wait a minute, was that me or was that the same person? And then you realize, oh, it's different now. But I know what you mean about like.
Well, then you get into behavioral systems and wiring and like, and then we would have to do another inside of
inside of your brain.
But that's kind of what you're doing, Michael. I mean, you're on this road, this journey of what's inside of you and sharing it. So,
I think
the
true.
vulnerability of that, I think vulnerability is probably a key thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's if you're not showing yourself and you shouldn't be preaching it. You shouldn't be telling people what they should be doing if you're not also at least acknowledging it, right?
I don't know.
Really?
I don't. Because it depends on the context, right? You don't need your therapist to start crying in front of you or to tell you about something, right?
That's true. That would be kind of odd.
That would not be
I
professional.
had a therapist once say, "You mind if I eat this Subway sandwich in front of you? I'm just really hungry. I haven't eaten." And it was when you did in person. I go, "Yeah," and that was my last session.
But have you had one fall asleep on you?
What the fuck is this? Have you?
No, but
could you imagine?
I was just
so
saying,
bored with me. I told him, I had one therapist say, "Why are you being a pussy?" And I go, "What?" And then I go, "I guess I was kind of a pussy."
That's called tough love.
Yeah, it was.
Do you ever have that? Like, I had an acting teacher once in college said, you got to get rid of that judging eye that's always talking to you and looking at you. And if you can shatter that, I think there's four, the id, the ego, and the super ego. And if you can shatter that
old
thing,
school paradigms.
yeah,
Robert with the old school paradigm.
it's old
school paradigm.
OSR.
But you can't how do you get rid of that? Like, you ever that conversation, like, shut the fuck up. It's like that voice, that judging thing. If you can shatter that thing, but then again, can you even do that? I think for a lot of actors, they're always like, not a lot of actors, but artists, and sometimes that voice thing gets in the way. Like, you need to fucking shoot that thing with a shotgun and then get it out.
I agree, but I also I don't think I'm cool enough to just internalize and be quiet.
Robert's eye. Oh,
whether you're just how you have you always been like that, where you can just sit there and be? I don't know how that's a gift. Can you do that, Brett? Can you just sit and shut the fuck up and internalize?
No, my girlfriend says, she says, you never stop talking. You come home. And I'm like, well, I have to talk to somebody. And you live here, so sorry, that's your job, part of your job now.
Here.
So
that's
you can leave if you don't like it. But
you can talk to us.
She's like, don't you need to rest your voice for the show?
The tour. This is going to air soon. So how long does the tour go on for?
17 days.
17 more days.
Yeah.
Do you want it to continue? What if they say you want to extend it? Would you do it?
It'll be Christmas. We start our tour on December 3rd through December 21st, I think.
Do you love it? Do you love the traveling? Do you love it?
I love it.
We love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love being on a bus with these crazy cats.
I like playing shows.
Yeah.
I like the randomness every day, something different city, different people, different restaurants, different looks. Just, you never get the same thing twice.
And we don't know what's going to don't know what's going to happen. And then playing is always great. And we have really good support.
Yeah.
Around us, people. We just have
fans love it, huh?
We just have great
and the management,
tour management, great management, great sound. Everybody's just so nice.
We got great fans though. We really do.
They've
evolved with us. I think it seems like now they're listening more. If that makes any sense, I think they're a little more like listening, and I mean maybe we've all matured a bit together. But, when we were younger, it was a little more reckless and crazy and people more noisier and screaming and jumping around. And now it's more like, it seems like people have a real interest in what we're doing musically more so than.
And the ages are all over the place too. There's like young all the way. It's a different, and there's more guys.
That's a good thing, right?
Well, there used to be
street cred.
Yeah. And there's you'll see some, it's just a different, it's great.
And we've also had a couple of nights where we've been introduced to some people and it was their first concert ever, like some teenagers and some young kids.
Cool.
And I always take that like, we better not suck tonight. Like, we got a heavy responsibility tonight, guys. Like, this is that girl's first concert ever, and someone's gonna ask her in 25 years, what was your first concert? And
Dogstar.
And they were great. I hope that's what she says.
And pies.
Like yeah, exactly.
What was it?
What? It was a pie contest.
And Dogstar. Yeah. Guys, this has been awesome. I never have had
Blue
three people.
Blue Ribbon.
Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Yeah.
You know what movie that's from?
Yes.
Heineken.
No! Don't tell me it's from the.
Don't say
oh my
it.
God! No!
We'll wait.
No,
I'm not saying it.
No. Dennis Hopper.
Yes,
it's Dennis Hopper. Oh my God, Frederick Elms is the cinematographer. And what's the name of that movie? Because it's so good, and it's called Blue Velvet.
Nice. Heineken. Fuck that shit. Paps Blue Ribbon.
Isabella Rossellini. David Lynch.
Oh, who's your favorite actor ever?
Not going there.
Never would. Who's your top 10? Give one.
Inspiring. Robert De Niro, Taxi Driver.
People have said that before too. That's the movie. What about you? And that's it.
Favorite
Peter
actor.
O'Toole.
Wow.
We got to meet him. Keanu and I met him once.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go to
Yeah,
Rob.
go ahead.
Go to Rob.
No, go, Brad. Go to Brad.
Go.
He's getting excited.
I don't have an answer yet. Go ahead, Rob.
Oh, man. Daniel Day-Lewis. I love him. And I also, you know what? I love Albert Brooks.
There's a documentary on Albert Brooks now. I got to watch that.
He's the most relaxed.
Yeah.
Something about him in Drive. Are you kidding me? It's frightening how good he is in that movie.
Yeah.
And
no, I didn't see that. I
and
saw
defending
Baby
your
Driver.
life, defending your. I mean, come on. He's just.
Yeah,
there's something about him that I just can't stop. I just love him. But Daniel Day-Lewis. Of course, De Niro,
Oldman,
Meryl Streep,
Nicholson.
Yeah. Laurence Olivier. No, I don't know.
Yeah. Guys, this has been a joy. I don't want to take any more time. This has been unbelievable. Thank you. I really got to know you guys, and I appreciate you coming in. And thanks for allowing me to be inside you and coming over to the house. It means a lot. Thank you.
Cheers, man.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. It's been fun.
Thanks, Mike.
I loved it. I loved it. I was thinking, what could we cut? And I asked you about it, and you were like, well, nothing really. It's all good. And I trust you because I don't
normally I have to cut out when you say certain stuff, but this one you didn't say. Just kidding.
Well, you know what's funny is
normally you say that one thing we always have to cut out. But luckily this time.
Well, I just get bored sometimes with myself. And so I'm like, cut that whole thing. If it doesn't move the story, if it's redundant, if it's slow, or if it's an uncomfortable moment, or if it affects the
this one,
guest.
I felt like it flowed. I thought it was a good episode.
Good. And 'tis the season to be giving. I want to give a shout out to the many fine nonprofits that I work with and love. The Ronald McDonald House of Los Angeles, foodonfoot.org if you want to donate. The Animal Rescue Mission. Shout out to my friend Shira Astroff, who saves so many animals, so many doggies. And I love them. Echoesofhope.org for foster youth. And some great nonprofits that really are tremendous. And Serve LA, little shout out to Hauser, Mr. Paul Hauser.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I went to his event. And that's it. I hope you guys have an awesome holiday. Bryce, I hope you have an awesome holiday, my friend. But
Thanks.
Before we do that, should we read some of the most important people in my life?
Yeah, let's do it.
Top tier patrons. Here we go. Couldn't do it without you. Lil Lisa, Nancy D, Lee and Kristen, Little Lisa, Yukiko. I said Little Lisa.
You did.
Jill E, but I said her first. Brian H, Nico P, Robert B, Jason W, Sophie M, Raj C, Joshua D, Jennifer N, Stacy L, Jamal F, Janelle B, Mike E, Eldon Soprano, 99 more, Santiago M, Chad W, Leanne P, Maddie S, Belinda N, Dave. I love Dave Hole. I love Dave Hole. How many times have you heard me say Dave Hole, Bryce?
A lot.
Great. Sheila G, Brad D, Ray Hadada.
Tabitha T, Tom N, Talia M, Betsy D, Rhiannon C, Corey K, Deb Nexon, Michelle A, Jeremy C, Brandy D, Joey M, Eugene and Leah, Corey, Angela F, Mel S, Christine S, Erica H, Shane R, Andrew M, Amanda R, Kevin E. Now that I have a son and we read every night, I have to start reading again out loud, and I don't like it.
I'll take over. Well, it's
maybe I'll read him patron names to go to sleep.
I'm sure that would put him to sleep. No, it wouldn't. It'd give him energy. Stephanie K, Joel L, Jammin J, Leanne J, Luna R, Mike F, Stone H, Brian L, Jules M, Kendall L, Jessica B, Kyle F, Marisol P, Kaylee J, Brian A, Ashley F, Marion Louise L, Romeo the Band, Frank B, Jen T, Nikki L, April R, Randy S, JDW, Oral P, Ginger Insomniac, Rachel D, Melissa H, Nick W, Stephanie and Evan, Charlene A, Don G, Jenny B from the
You know
block.
what's cool
What's that?
is we started Patreon maybe almost 3 or 4 years ago. I remember it was in December. And so a lot of the folks that were around back then are still around today, which is rad.
Yeah, you guys are just so incredible, and you're so important to me. And it's funny when I'm writing those little notes in the boxes that I send you guys every week or a couple months. I always think, what am I going to say? And then I just speak from the heart. I'm just like, how much it means to me and how, amazing they are. And like they've heard it, but it's like, there's only so much you could say, but the love is there. And, but they've stuck around. It's pretty incredible. I always think, oh, they're going to leave me. They're going to leave me. They're going to, and people have lives and they have jobs and they, and I'm so surprised that they're even there and that they just like the podcast and they,
They show up. It's cool.
show up, man. You guys show up. And, as long as you're here, I'm here. So thanks. So I guess that's it. So have a wonderful holiday. Be good to yourself. I usually say that at the end of the episode, but, and sometimes the holidays are tough. If you've lost someone, I know a few of my friends are going to be without their parents or, my friend Alex is going to be without her father for the holidays and she just lost him and it's really tough. And, it's just, it can be tough and for a lot of people and, but there's a light. There is, not to be profoundly cliche, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel. There is. This is life, man. It's waves. It's you hit the bottom and you come back up for air. And then there's beautiful weather in front of you. And then all of a sudden a fucking shitstorm hits you. And you just got to get through it and love your friends, hang around people that you enjoy, people that don't bring you down. And thank you, Bryce, for being here. All my love to you and Logan and
Likewise.
Beckham.
Yep.
And love to Ryan, Taz, and Jason, to you, my friend, my editing friend. So from the Hollywood Hills in Hollywood, California, I am Michael Rosenbaum.
I'm Bryce.
We love you guys. And again, be good to yourself. I'll see you very, very soon.